All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're here. We're back. We're podcasting once again. And we are here with Vince Skelly. Vince, welcome.
Yo, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, man. Yeah, I've been looking at your work for quite a while and just had no idea you had any connection to skateboarding or kind of like anything in this whole little world that this pod touches. So very, very cool to talk to you. So let me ask first and foremost, and I kind of like to ask people this to start. What do you refer to the work that you do as? Do you tell people I'm a sculptor, I'm a woodworker? Like how do you describe it to somebody in an elevator or like a I don't know, family gathering situation?
Yeah, I usually say I make sculptural furniture that's carved out of solid chunks of wood. Some of the stuff isn't like furniture, it's just like purely sculpture. So yeah, there's like, you wear the artist hat, but then there's like the furniture designer hat, but like everything is hand carved. So it's, it usually takes like more than a couple words to describe what I do.
Yeah, I get that. Like who can ever break down what they do into a couple words other than like, yeah, I'm a tax attorney or something like that.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
feel
or
like
I
if
mean
you're a creative person, it can get, deep.
yeah, yeah, or if, like, you're a painter, like, that's said and done, like, that's simple.
Right. Yeah, so you've got sculpture, you've got woodworking, you've got some of this is more practical where it could be furniture and some of it, yeah, is sculpture.
Mhm.
So has this been something you've done for your whole life? Were you, woodworking or sculpting as a kid?
No, I pretty much started in 2017, like, learning how to use the tools, but my parents were art teachers and practicing artists, so growing up, our house was like a big art studio. There was just, like, supplies laying around and stuff, so, there was always something to pick up and, try, and we always built, like, skate ramps and tree houses and stuff, so I had, like, I liked building things with my hands, but it wasn't until, like, way later in life when I started to get into this.
Yeah, that's cool. So, I mean, were you doing anything professionally before this? Were you working as an artist or were you, doing something completely different?
Yeah, so I had a career in graphic design, and so I went to school in San Francisco at the State University for, graphic design, got a degree, started, like, freelancing, and then, moved up to Portland and, like, started a little studio with my brother up there, and then, had that career for about 10 years, worked for, like, a couple different brands and stuff and agencies, and then, but when I was studying graphic design in San Francisco, I got this book called Handcrafted Modern, which I should have it lying around here, but I think it's at my house. But it's a book of um, like artists' homes that they've built. And so one of them was JB Blanc, who is this sculptor in Northern California in Inverness, and his work was like, I mean, everything in the book is incredible, but, like, something about his work really spoke to me, and, like, I'd never really seen anybody do what he was doing, and, also, like, there at the time, there was, like, relatively no info about him, so I was like, "Wait, why isn't this guy, like, right next to Noguchi or, like, Henry Moore or something," you know? And so I think that, like, general curiosity about, like, this artist started me down this path into, wanting to do this, like, wood carving stuff.
That's amazing. And I mean, congratulations. Sounds like you followed the
Thanks.
path. So that's really cool. But this thing of starting with graphic design, which is to me such a good place to start to like understand how things are made or branding or so many things. But I feel like there was in the like late 2000s, early 2010s, just this like explosion of people who specialized in graphic design, and when I check back
Yeah.
on them now, like, not that many people do, like, strict graphic design or brand work or anything. Like, did you go into that thinking, like, "This is it, I just, I wanna create brands, or I wanna, like, do layout type stuff," or did you have a vision beyond that? Because, I mean, I went to grad school for graphic design, and I
No
all
way.
yeah, I enjoyed it, but I also, like, never really felt comfortable saying, like, "I am a graphic designer," because I, like, you know, had this perspective of, like, well, this is one piece to a puzzle. So I'm just curious, like,
Oh, that's interesting.
where was it in your head?
I'm maybe the opposite. Like I pretty simple-minded approach. I wanted to do graphic design up until a point where I felt I could do art direction, and then from there take it to creative direction, and wanted to stick within like a brand. Um, I don't know. It was like that was sort of the path. I didn't like think about I don't know, and like things outside of it. I mean, I would have been fine doing graphic design like my whole life. Um, if you were to like, ask me when I started, just because that I was like, this is what I want to do. I know what I want to do. And then like, life just kind of gave me this totally different path. But it's funny because like, man, I haven't thought about this in a while, but like I took like a Photoshop class in my senior year of high school. It was 2005. And uh, somehow I got invited to like share a portfolio with a couple of like art director type people, and
Oh,
one of
wow.
the dudes was Andy Jenkins from the Art Dump.
Whoa,
And I was
okay.
like, and I knew of him obviously, and I was like, dude, this is crazy. And the stuff I was showing him was like high school entry level Photoshop stuff that was like so bad. And I remember one of the things that I showed him, which was like a Jerry Sue ad that I had like traced like with the pen tool and like created gradients, like added like strokes and colors. And I was like, what am I doing showing that to Andy Jenkins right now?
That's so sick, man. That's also just such a reflection on that time
Yeah, yeah.
in when Photoshop and stuff like that was kinda still a dark art where it's like, "Oh, whoa, you know Photoshop? You know how to do that?" It's like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
man, I
yeah.
can, like, throw some gradients on something, I can chop some stuff out." But, like, also, at the same time, like, if you're in that position now, if somebody brings you some sculpture or something that seems, like, really elementary or really basic or something, I don't know, isn't it cool that they just, like, have that interest or they have that fire? I would put myself in
Totally.
that position and be like, "Oh, this person, like, is into skateboarding, they're into design," like, you can learn how to do other stuff, right? You can
Yeah,
learn new
yeah.
skills.
No, it's true. It's cool. And like a lot of people will hit me up on like Instagram or email and just be like, "Hey, could I like pop by the studio?" And I'm like I'm a student studying sculpture or furniture design, and I'd love to just like learn more about your trajectory, how like you got to where you are. And I'm always like down to have people stop by. I mean, cuz like people gave me that opportunity when I was getting started, and I thought that was like really cool of them, and like I learned a lot. And it was really cool to see like different artists' workspace. I'm like super interested in that. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm like my studio is basically like an open door to anybody who wants to come through.
That's I mean, very generous that you operate in that way. I also, like maybe it's just having done creative type stuff for a little while now, but you get out into the world, a lot of people are playing it safe. Like, most people have to play it safe in one way or another and aren't maybe exercising their creative faculties in that way. It's kind of a small group of people when it comes down to it. So, at least to
Mhm.
me, if you can, like, foster that in somebody and show somebody that there is a way to live that way,
Mhm.
like, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a really interesting path, but it's got to you to where you are now. And, for folks who maybe don't know, um, you make your work, where does it go? Does it show up in, galleries or private collections? Like, where does this stuff end up?
Yeah, like, I'd say about 80% of it is, for, like, either collectors or interior designers, architects, things like that, which is great because, like, working directly with clients is where you get the most, um, money. Like, it's like working with a gallery is amazing, and there's so many benefits to doing it, but there's, like, a 50% commission, which,
Yep.
like, a lot of people are like, "Holy shit, what?" But that's just, like, totally standard and normal. And galleries do a lot of work for you, or at least they should. But yeah, so like about 20% of my work is done through like galleries or shown in like museums. And what I love about the gallery museum shows is that it gives you a chance to like expand on the like vocabulary of your work, like try new shapes and forms and ideas. Whereas the commissions are usually somebody pointing to something you've already made and saying, "Hey, is this available?" And
Like,
what's
is it like, "Oh, I want one of those. I see that. I want one of those."
exactly, yeah, and so, like, I've like, at some point, I've sort of figured that out where, like, it's there's a huge benefit to being able to, like, recreate something to a degree like that, and if I were, like, a painter, that wouldn't really feel right, but because this is, like, a functional, it's like a, functional sculpture, it still feels right, it almost feels well, it's like furniture is, so, it's great, I sort of design like, with that in mind sometimes, like, if I'm gonna do something, like, really crazy and one-off that's hard to repeat, like, I'll maybe save that for, like, a museum show or something, but, like, there's, like, a standard probably, like, 8 things that people, like, come back to me and order from.
And what sort of things are those? Are they, tables, chairs? Like, what do people get into?
It's mostly like a three-legged stool.
Sure,
Or,
yeah.
like I mean, like, people have moved on, I feel like that had its time and place, and everybody it's like a you can't go wrong with a three-legged stool, It's like it's
Nice.
a tried
That's
and
cool.
true design, like, it's been around for ages, everybody likes it. But, yeah, I think the, like, design tastes have just evolved in the last, 5, 8 years since yeah, well, yeah, I mean, like, the last 5 years or so since I started doing it, and so now people they're just asking for different things, but it's a lot of side tables, stools, and benches. That's, like, the main stuff. Chairs are hard because they're, like the ones I make are, like, big and chunky and heavy, and they're, like,
Sure.
statement pieces. They're not necessarily, like, dining chairs, and so, um and this goes with for, like, a lot of my work is, like, you kinda have to have, like, a lot of space sometimes for these things because they're, like, big, chunky, and heavy, which, like, lends itself to a certain clientele.
Right, right. I mean, you can't fit a big one piece of wood solid chair in a studio apartment, or that could be like your one piece of furniture
Yeah, yeah,
of that
yeah.
so I get that. And it's cool, like, talking from this vantage point now where you have a body of work, people hit you up for it, but was there a point where you were kinda deciding that this was gonna be your career path, and maybe was there, like, one thing or a series of things that solidified that, where you're like, "Oh, I
Oh,
could do
man.
this."
Yeah, yeah. No, that I mean, that path, like, looking back on it was super interesting, and like, loved that little
Yeah.
era, but, so I was, uh I was doing graphic design for this brand, Chrome. They make, like, bike messenger backpacks, and,
The horse logo, the little horse logo.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A griffin, but
Oh, it's a
yeah, yeah,
griffin,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, but
I don't
yeah, yeah,
care. I don't give a shit about that. The cool thing about that working there though is that, this is in Portland and, the parking lot was, like, torn up asphalt, and when we moved into the building, I asked the owner if we could, like, pave it smooth so we could, like, put boxes out there and skate and stuff, and they were like,
Nice.
"Yeah," they were like, "For sure," and then now to this day, it's still a spot that people in Portland go to and, like, skate.
Whoa.
It's great. So that was a
Is it
super
is do people call it, like, the chrome spot, or what do they call it?
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, the
That's
Chrome
cool though,
parking
that's
lot,
amazing.
maybe? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool, but, yeah, working for marketing in general is just, like, the worst to me, like, I hated like,
I get that.
trying to sell people something that, like, even if they even if it's a good product, it just, like, feels weird, I don't know. But anyways,
Yeah.
sorry, I totally got sidetracked. I was working there full time and then, would just find logs on the side of the road and like free piles and stuff on Craigslist. Like an arborist would take down a thing and just like leave all the logs stacked up. There'd just be like a little hands written sign that said free logs. So I'd pick things up off the road and then start carving them like on the weekends and just like learning the tools. I primarily use a chainsaw. That's like 90% of the like tools that I use is just a chainsaw.
That's badass, by the way,
So
chainsaw, like,
it's
that's cool.
well, yeah, and, like, it's funny because I had no purpose using a chainsaw, like, I'm from the suburbs in, LA. There's just, like I'm just, like, a suburban, skateboard kid in LA, like, I don't need a chainsaw. So it took me a long time to learn how to use it because I was so scared. But, like, literally, like, 10 years before I could, like from, like, wanting to learn it to, like, actually picking it up.
Yeah. Well, I get
Yeah.
it, and also, like, how like, most of what people do with a chainsaw is just, like, a straight cut, like, "Oh, I have to, like, get these pieces of firewood,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
e
Yeah, you
even out
probably
the
used
sides."
one, like, growing up,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, yeah, I did, and it was never really, any sort of precision tool. It's very, like, very practical, very, one motion kinda deal.
For sure. Well, so speaking of that, I was, like, so scared, and I went around to, like, a couple stores around Portland that, like, were roadside attraction stores where you could buy, like, bears and eagles and stuff, and
Yeah, yeah.
I was just asking the dudes that work there, I was like, "Hey, like, I wanna learn how to do this." I mean, not necessarily like bears and eagles, but like I want to learn how to carve. I was like, "Could you teach me?" And they're like, "There's nothing. You just got to whip it up and like go do it." I'm like, "No, no, no. That's not how I work. Like, I need the safety instructions. I want to know tips. I want to know how to like change the fluid and sharpen the chain." And they were just like, "No, no, no, no." But then I found this like wood carving school in the Olympic Peninsula and
Oh, wow.
up in yeah, like right outside of Seattle and I think it was like Bremerton or something. But there's like they offered a 3-day workshop in like carving bears, and I was like, all right, I guess this is it. So like took
With the chainsaw.
yeah, 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 with the chainsaw.
Yeah,
So like
got it.
like worked up my PTO, like got out there for like 3 days, and it was like me and three other like retired like rural lumberjack looking dudes
Of course.
and everyone was like so hyped to learn how to carve bears and I was just like wanting to carve like spheres and like cubes, just like and like I was like, well, how do I like showed my teacher like a picture of a Noguchi piece and I was like, I want to give
Yes.
myself lessons. Like I want to be able to do stuff like this. And he was like, what? He was like, we got to work on these eagles' talons right now. He was like, that's child's play. I was like, oh God. So
Yeah.
it was
God,
funny,
I have
dude.
so many thoughts right now because it's like, one, the attitude of just like, "Oh, you just whip it up, you just do it." That is like classic, like, country old timer. Like, "You just no, you just do it. Yeah, there you go, that's it."
Yeah, yeah.
But also, yeah, the trying to explain the work of or like the significance of the work of somebody like Noguchi to somebody who's like, yeah, man, like they just wanna make their little doodads. They wanna make their eagle, they wanna make their thing to put on the lawn to show their grandkids. It's like same techniques, different worlds or different like
Yeah.
philosophies behind, and there's nothing wrong with, yeah, making a goofy little sculpture to put on your lawn, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can already see here that you're looking past that and toward, you know, something bigger, dare I say better.
Yeah, well, that's yeah, and I had to do it that way just because, like I said, like, I like to like, the hands-on learning experience, and I needed somebody to show me. There's certain things I can do without formal, like, instruction, but when you're using such a dangerous tool, like, you really gotta know the ins and outs of it, you know? But this is a long a long way of getting to the answer to your question, but basically that's how I like got familiar with the tool. And then from there, I was like picking up logs off the side of the road, like I was saying, and then, making stuff in my backyard in Portland. And then friends would start like sending me photos whenever they would see a pile of logs. They'd like just text me and I started saving all the photos. And I was
Love
like, oh,
that.
dude, I got to make a zine of just like all these text message photos of like piles of logs from friends. This would be so cool. But
Well, I love that too, because like, they see what you're into, and they're just like, "Hey, man, pile of logs." Like, it's funny, but it's also,
yeah,
like, they see you for what you're working on, which is great. They're, good friends,
yeah.
presumably.
No, totally, and I think, like, yeah, when you, like, start thinking about it, like, oh, if you see like, if you had a f I don't know, it got really cool, like, I started saving them. I had to stop at some point just because it got, like, too crazy and, like, I'm bad at, like, using my phone and saving
Yeah.
things in folders and stuff, but, I was giving myself, like, little lessons with the chainsaw as if I were in school, like, learn how to make a sphere, learn how to make an hourglass shape, learn how to, like, flatten a log, things like that, and, so I was, like, sort of recreating some pieces that you'd see in the history books and things like that, like, literally just, like, lessons, and then it got to a point where I, like, had a couple designs that I sold in a friend's store, and, and
Nice.
then from there, this illustrator, Lisa Condon, she like, I think she saw my work and was like, "Hey, do you want to show some of your stuff in, like, in this art show I'm having?" I was like, "Yeah." And then from there, another gallery in Portland heard about me and then offered me a show. And they're called Adams and Ullman. They're a great
Wow.
gallery.
Wow.
And then from there, it was like still just doing it on the weekends, but I was like starting to sell stuff and like get a lot of interest. I had like gotten an Instagram at that point, like it was like late to do it, but started getting like interest. And so I was like, okay, I could like maybe make money doing this thing. It got to the point where I was like making about the same amount of money at my like day job with this, and then I was like, "All right, I think it's time to take the plunge and, like, jump off from here," which was, like, the
Yeah.
scariest move because like, I had a mortgage, and it was just like, "Holy shit, this is crazy." But my wife was like, "Dude, you gotta do it, like, strike while the iron's hot and just see what happens."
That's beautiful. That's beautiful that, you had that sort of support in
Dude,
your life.
totally,
But, yeah, it's
totally.
it's also like hindsight is 2020. It's better than 2020, but I mean, you're talking about you're at a point where you have a career, you have a mortgage. It's a lot harder to change horses midstream, so to
Yeah,
speak, when you've got like a life going. I feel
yeah,
like it's so easy to say, oh, like, if I was in my early 20s or something, I could just, like, try stuff or whatever. I wish I could have that back, and it's like, you can
yeah.
never really have that back. There are real consequences to, like, following your passions or following your dreams when, like, you've got responsibilities, so amazing that you were able to do that. That's really cool.
Totally. Did you ever work in, like, an office job and they just had, like, a stacked snack bar and, like, really good coffee all the time and, like, maybe a keg or something? Like, that's the environment that I left, and I was like, "Damn, I don't have any of that anymore."
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I've worked at various different places like that in my life, but even just stuff RIP MetroCard, but
Oh, yeah, I
making
heard about that.
like real decisions of like I had an employer that would pay for my MetroCard, and it's like, dude, if you leave this job, they're not gonna pay for your MetroCard anymore. That's just one more thing.
How
And
much
it's like,
was that?
for a month, I think it was like 140,
Yeah.
120 or 140 or something. It's like it all adds up, man. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? It all
totally.
adds up. So you think about stuff like that too. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
just Metro card nostalgic because they don't exist. It was on my mind, yeah. So
Yeah.
I get that. I totally get that. So, okay, but you hit this stride and you were able to, like, money-wise make it make sense, so cool. So at that
Mhm.
point, what are you doing? You're saying, like, I'm gonna just keep making stuff, like, surrender to the flow, or did you have kind of a bigger plan on top of that?
I mean, the initial plan was to, um, like, take any commission that came through, but, like, the goal at that point was to, get represented by a gallery and go the gallery route.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
me, that was like, it's the being with a gallery sort of, like, validates you, and then, like, the galleries have PR, and they can, like, get you into art fairs and design fairs and that kinda thing, and, also not really knowing anything about that world, like, the art design world at the time, I was like, "Well, I need somebody else to, like, sorta help me, like, I need to hold somebody's hand, basically, have my hand held." Um and then it got to the point where I was like, okay, after seeing all these other people, like peers, kind of going in similar directions and stuff, and after like business started to like kind of develop further, I realized that you don't necessarily need a gallery. It's great to have that affiliation, but if you can make it work without one, then why not try? And so, that's kind of the position that I naturally fell in. I think it's because of the type of work is it's, functional, so it's furniture. At the time during the pandemic, dude, so many people were just, like, spending money on their homes and, like, like, hitting me up for stools and all these things. So I was like, "Holy shit, like, this is crazy." It really, like, um yeah, it was, like, a really good time for me for, like, making my work and like, starting my career down that new path, which is so weird. I know other people have, like, talked about that too, right?
Oh, yeah, it's like, I look at the pandemic, especially since it, dragged on for several years, like, such a, challenging time, but also, like, such an incubator time
Mhm.
and time where people really were able to say, "Alright, I'm able to go in on something that, was maybe in the back of my mind," and, yeah, like, I feel awful that people got sick, a lot of people died. Also culturally, like, things have not been the same. However, there is this really cool thing of people being able to, like, go all in on creative projects that we're seeing, it's really to me, it's just like now, a few years out, we're really starting to see all these projects, all these initiatives. I mean, you
Yeah.
changed your life in a big way and went for it, and now you're able to do this in, a much bigger and better way, and I think that there's a lot of people who are, living in that same reality, so it's cool to see.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, it's super strange, but yeah, right when the pandemic hit, 2 people hit me up when it kinda, like, got me thinking like, "Okay, maybe this thing could work," and one was, Maddie
Yeah.
Matheson, just, like, randomly hit me up for, like, do you know Maddie Matheson? He's a chef.
Chef,
Okay,
tattoo,
okay.
Toronto, uh,
Yeah, yeah,
big guy, big heart,
yeah. Okay, yeah.
loved his work, went to a seafood food restaurant in Toronto, and it was,
Oh,
like,
sick.
really, really good. The biggest shrimp I've ever seen in my life. They were, like, free community shrimp. Shout out Maddie Matheson. You got the
Yeah,
biggest
dude.
shrimp.
That's so sick. Yeah, he actually asked me later on to if I would make some stuff for that restaurant, but it didn't work out. But originally,
Ah,
like, this is probably,
okay.
like, I think, like, early 2020, like, just when the pandemic was hitting, I think, he was like, "Yo, um, somebody was taking me around, and, like, I saw your work somewhere, and, I was wondering if you could make me something." And I was like, "Okay." And, like, I didn't know who he was,
Wow.
and I told my
Oh,
friends, and
wow.
they were like, "Dude, he's the best, like, I fucking love his show, blah, blah, blah." And then the next dude who hit me up was Virgil Abloh, and I was like, "Who's this dude?" And I was
Wow.
like, "This guy's got, like,
Wow,
a
okay.
lot of followers."
I love not knowing who these guys are too, it's so sick.
I
It's
know,
like, "Wait,
I don't know
what?"
how. Like, I would tell
I
people,
love
and they
that.
would be like, "You're fucking lying, dude." But, yeah, like, so I had to, like, do a little bit of research, and then I was like, "Why are these, like, famous people hitting me up for shit?" I was like, "That's kinda cool," and I was like, "Okay, how are they, like, finding my stuff?" I don't know. I don't really know exactly how it really just started to, like roll along and sort of
Huh.
get its I think Instagram and, like, word of mouth and stuff like that, and then the timing with, the pandemic and stuff and people kind of focusing on their homes and design and architecture and stuff. I feel like there was, like, a weird, like it was, like, the right time for that or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody's, like, looking at their phones a lot, which,
For sure.
okay, again, societally, we got some issues there, but yeah, I mean, if you have the desire to make big changes, you can't really do it outside of your home, so, like, a lot of people
Mhm.
focused on their homes, and also, yeah,
Mhm.
just, like, I feel like people got really into curation in general, you know what I mean? You're
Mhm.
spending more time online, you're getting fed all of these different images, and you get, exposed to possibilities. So, I start seeing these chairs, these stools, these end tables that you make. My place might look really cool with those, like, gets the
Mhm.
hamster wheel turning for a lot of people. Also, people buying
Totally.
new homes too. I don't know what it was like
Dude,
in
yeah.
Southern California, but upstate New York, like in the Catskills and stuff,
Oh,
went
yeah.
crazy. There are some of these little towns where they were not giving away houses, but houses were really cheap up there, and they were,
Damn.
going up by the hundreds of thousands every month or so just
Oh
because
my
everybody was
god.
trying to get out or, like, finally wanted to pull the trigger on getting a cabin or a second home or something. Yeah, it's kind of unreal how much that changed, and those areas now are, way more expensive than they used to be
I
to
bet, dude.
buy, like, not even a very nice house, but lasting effects.
Dude, yeah, that's so crazy how that happened. Oh, it's so bizarre. I bet there were people that sold their house in, like, December 2019 that are just, like, so bummed.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, the perception that it's gonna last forever, like, I mean, you remember the rhetoric that was going around too, where it's like, "This is it. Everyone is gonna work
Oh, yeah.
remotely for the rest
Yeah.
of their lives. This is the way society is going." It's like, I mean, kinda, but things did snap back in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah, it's funny. Okay, but I mean, this is starting to make a lot of sense where it's like maybe you can explain everything that happened, but I mean, do you really need to? You made some work that it sounds like you're proud of. Other people seem to really like it. You are on this path, really not sure of what it might turn into other than like you enjoy doing it. People seem to enjoy it and it's building momentum, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, like, through you know, the whole time I was getting started and there was just, like, stacks of ideas of things that I wanted to make, and a lot of them um, they were just out of reach at the time because of, like, I was limited to my Honda CR-V and what I could, like, throw in the back of that car at the time, you know? And so, like, I wanted to scale up work, but I wasn't able to. And so, when I moved to Claremont with my wife in 2021, I was working out of our garage in, like, our side yard and then, was getting noise complaints from my neighbor because I was, like, using a gas chainsaw at the time. And, like, I totally get it, like, I wasn't mad at him. I wouldn't wanna necessarily live next to me if I was a retired guy, with, like, a hot tub. I guess he was just, like, chilling in his hot tub the whole time, and I was just, like, ripping the chainsaw.
Yeah. I get that.
Um, so I was, like, forced to get a studio, and it was the first time I had to rent a studio, and it was crazy, like, it's so expensive to rent a studio space, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, so it's like, okay, you go from, like, quitting the day job to, like, okay, but n and you have a mortgage, now you have to pay us like, to rent a studio? I was like, "Fuck, dude, did I do that? Is this the right move?" But, it allowed me to, like, work on those goals of, like, scaling my pieces up and doing bigger things and doing more experimental things, and I had the space to store wood. So, it was the right move to, like, kinda progress the whole thing.
Yeah, and tell me what you think about this. This is, I mean, this was a while back for me during actually my graphic design career, but the thing or the action of getting a studio, to me, flipped a switch mentally where it's like, "Okay, this is actually your work now. This is actually, like, you doing this as a job." Did that happen with you? Because
Yeah.
it's like when you're working from home or, like, a third place or whatever, you're doing the same work, presumably, but making it official in that way where it's like, "Hey, people, come
Yeah.
by," or just like the I don't know, the satisfaction of having that space. Did that flip switches for you?
Yeah, exactly. Like, all of what you just said is, like, totally true. Mhm.
Yeah, and, like, sometimes it's just convincing yourself, you know? Sometimes even if you don't know that you need it to make those things real to yourself, okay, now you've got it. Well, now do your work here.
Mhm.
That's cool. Okay. So you
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
studio and well, if you could back up for a second to what prompted the move to California from
Oh,
Portland?
yeah. So, a couple things, but my wife, Jessie, and I wanted to, start a family, and we both grew up in Claremont, and we loved growing up there, and, we have some family down here still. So that was part of it. It's like a great place to raise kids. It's very walkable. It's beautiful. There's all these private colleges there, and it's great. Also, the proximity to LA for my work was really like it was a big pull because I felt like I was for one thing, like, nobody in Portland was really buying my work. It was all, like, LA, New York, Miami, like, there's just, like, the hubs. So I didn't necessarily need to be in Portland for work anymore, and, I thought that moving to LA might, like, open some doors or, like, find some new clients and stuff, and, like, sure enough, like, as soon as I moved down there, through, like, friends of friends, met a lot of great people and interior designers who just started giving me a lot of work. So, it was really, like, validating. Uh, yeah, it was the right move for sure.
Yeah, I could totally see that, and I mean, proximity, geography matters so much. Also just, like, cultural fit. I noticed this just about different places. There are places where people might even have the budget to buy art or, decorate their home in a certain way, but if you're not part of a world where people are, like, creative or, if you don't have friends or a social network where people value those things, even if you have the budget to do that stuff, you probably won't. You kinda have to be around people who both have the budget and, like, have the interest to do that kinda stuff, to be wanna be around, like, cool objects. Does that resonate?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, I think everybody in my community in Portland, was there's a lot of artists in Portland, obviously, and, everybody was kinda down. It's just, like, hard to I don't know. I mean, everybody was really supportive of what everybody was doing is in terms of,
Yeah.
making art up there, but, I don't know. Not a lot of people buy art in Portland, I feel like. I don't know. Somebody told me this funny thing. They were "Yeah, we have all these, people from Nike coming to these galleries in Portland who, maybe they're, like, creative types that work for Nike or something, and, they'll see all this stuff and they really like it, but then they'll just, go home and kind of make it on their own or say it might inspire them to make their own art or something, which is great, but, the point they were making is that, it's hard up here, there's not a huge market for purchasing art. I don't know. I don't know if
So
that's
you
true or not. That's just what I was told.
Yeah, and it might just be, yeah, like the market isn't there. It's just a different, cultural bent
Yeah,
on it. I mean,
true.
very cool that people are inspired by it, but like you need to sell your art. So you go where the art is sold, and and cool that you ended up back where you grew up and you feel really good about it. For those who and for myself too, I'm not I admitted before we started recording my California geography is still, like, kinda, bad, I would say. So, Claremont is, like, kind of in between, like, Los Angeles and, what do they call it? Like, the Inland Empire area? Is that it? Would
Yeah,
is
the
that
IE. Yeah,
okay.
it's, so Claremont's in LA County. It's east of downtown LA about 25 miles. The last suburb in LA County before you get to San Bernardino County, which is like where the
Wow,
Inland
okay.
Empire is. Yeah, the IE. But it's also so there's like some of your listeners, I mean, I'm sure most of them are skaters and stuff. And so like for context, like Baldy Pipe is
Yep.
right where Claremont and Upland meet. It's kind of like right on the border. It's in like the I think the Los Padres National Forest. But so Baldy Pipe is there. There's like the famous high school 10 rail that like Brian Anderson did the front lunch of it, I think in
Oh, such a good one. Is that in Yeah,
dude.
right?
I think it's in Yeah Right, which is crazy because
Yeah.
it just seems like it could have been a like a Welcome to Hell clip. Like it was
Yeah.
so old, but and there's like some other stuff. Yeah, but so anyways, those are like the two like main ones. But yeah, so that's Claremont. It's a beautiful town, dude. It's really great. If you ever come to LA, like there's a lot of fun spots around here too. You can go skate.
So, yeah, and I mean, let's talk about a little bit about we haven't really talked that much about skating, like, you grew up skating in Claremont, I take it. What was that like?
Yeah, I have a older brother who's 6 years older, and so he started skating in, like, maybe '94 or something,
Okay,
so
yeah,
I think I started skating in '95, but it was, like we were very influenced by, like, Girl Chocolate and Mouse. That was just, like,
yeah, yeah,
the first videos we got were when Plan B, like they've reissued the trilogy set of questionable virtual reality and secondhand smoke on VHS. It was like a three little box set
nice.
thing. And dude, it was sick. We were on this like family vacation to Lake Tahoe, and like my parents were like, "You guys can all buy a souvenir." And I was like, "What's a souvenir?" They're like, "You like a toy, like whatever." I was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
cool." And my brother was like, "I don't want one. I'm gonna use it when we get back. I'm gonna go buy this trilogy box set." And I was like,
whoa,
"Damn, okay, whatever." I was like, I got like a slingshot or something. I was like, "This is sick." And then when we
that's
got back and my brother got
yeah,
these videos, I was like, "Whoa, those were like the videos we grew up on," which was super cool. And obviously, it was like after they had come out. It was like a reissue, but I think it was like '95 or something when we got
yeah,
them.
yeah, I love
But yeah,
that.
like yeah, well, it's classic. Like your older brother skates, and like you want to do what he does. So it was that move.
A tale as old as time.
Yeah,
Older brother
yeah,
skate, then
totally. We
you
skate.
figured out yeah, go ahead.
Our biggest spot was, like, Chaffey. I don't know if you've, like, if you know
Of
Chaffey.
course, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
and
that was,
is that close to Claremont, or was it close to Claremont?
it's like maybe like a 15-minute drive. Yeah, it's like a
Got it.
couple towns over. But that was, like, when we kinda maxed out our local spots, we had l we my mom taught art at Chaffey too, so we, like, kinda had a little
There
plug
we
there.
go.
So yeah, it was cool. We'd be skating and then like they used to bring like dude, the police helicopter like would come and circle and they'd get on the loudspeaker and stuff. Like it was wild. And my mom would open up the doors. She'd be there on the weekends like grading and she
Yeah,
would
yeah.
drive us there and stuff. And she would open up the doors and the art department was in the basement. And so there was like these big stairs that went down. And so like anybody who was at the park would just like flood down into into the art class and like hide until the cops left. Like it was so sick, dude.
Man, back in the day, this is I feel like this is its own just, like, lane of study, but back in the day, people were so aggressive about skateboarding. It was
Totally.
so wild, it kinda didn't matter where you were, and I feel like it literally only that attitude literally only exists now in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the only place where you
Really?
go, and oh, yeah, they're still aggro about it. But
Whoa,
why is it
crazy.
it's just confined to, like and Center City, Philadelphia too, like, it's not like it extends past, but, like, if you're right downtown in Philly, they're
Wow.
still on that, it's like, it's such a throwback to me, it's so funny.
Wow, that's so crazy. Oh, man, I mean, I kinda love hearing that, though, like, if you ever miss that that time, you
Yeah,
can,
if
like,
you ever
go
miss
back
that, like,
there.
rush of getting tackled by a cop or a security guard or something, go skate Muni, which they just resurfaced.
Damn.
They're redoing Muni right now
What?
too, so, yeah,
Sick.
it's gonna be, like, really, really good, so
Wow.
head there, everybody. Or
That's
don't.
sick.
But yeah, yeah, okay, wow, so, I mean, that's really cool, and also just such a storied spot. I mean, I remember that from 4 and 1 back in the day, there were so many lines there, such a good line spot, ledge spot, like Chaffey was one of those that, you know, in that era, everybody knew, so very cool that you had access at that age.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Richard Mulder there for it was, like, the first pro I saw, and I was just like, "No
No big deal.
way,
Wow.
dude. This
Wow.
is insane." Like, skating the stage, oh my god.
Yeah,
I
yeah, and then the, like, skate to graphic design pipeline is a real one too, like, were
Mhm.
you I mean, was that on your mind too, coming from, skating, thinking about it's and it sounds like when you talked about sitting down with Andy Jenkins and having the, Jerry Sue ad traced, which I love, but was that, like, part of your thought process where you're like, "Hey, there's this thing that I really like to do, there's this, like, graphic component to it," was that part of it?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, I think, like, it kinda stemmed from making skate videos with my friends and, like, take making title treatments and, like, designing the VHS, like, sleeve and stuff like that, and then, like, the DVD sleeves, and so, also I feel like I don't know, the the branding, like, the skateboard branding was, like, super heavy back then, like, everybody there's a huge emphasis on, like, skate company graphics and branding. I don't know, maybe there is now, but maybe I'm just not paying as much attention to it, but I was at a time where it was having a big effect on me, It was, like, probably, you know when you're a kid and you're getting into skating and stuff, that's, like, one of the main things you're paying attention to. So that, like yeah, that gave me the idea. Also, my parents were like, they weren't saying, like, "Don't go to art school," but they were like, "We got our MFAs, we're like, we're in debt, we did the whole thing, and now we're sitting here teaching, like" my mom taught at a high school, and my dad taught at a
Right.
prison, teaching art. I was like, "Okay, where's a way you could, like, have a creative path, but and, like, do art, but maybe not, like, be so in debt," and so, yeah, graphic design is, like, the natural path.
Yeah, and I totally get that, like, art school is so or can be so amazing, but also, like, there are very real consequences,
Yeah.
most of which are like, "What do I do with this?"
Dude,
So
yeah.
I that one
Did
hits
you
hard. I get
did
that.
you go to, an art school for your MFA? Did you
Yeah,
say
from a
MFA or
no, yeah, graduate program, and
okay,
it
yeah,
was,
yeah.
like, very I mean, I learned so much and met so many cool people and got, further into the worlds that I wanted to get into. It's also like, "Okay, here you go." You know what I mean? If you have any sort of more traditional career path where it's like I mean, the classic examples, am I gonna be a doctor? Okay, I have, like, regimented tests, I'm around this peer group who are all kinda going for the same thing. When you go to art school, like, 1, okay, you can, emphasize in graphic design or something more practical, but, that doesn't get you on a track to talking to the people that you wanna talk to unless you really pursue it. You know what I
Mhm,
mean?
totally.
Same thing with, being around certain, a certain type of creative environment. I can major in design and have that really be my thing and even have like places or people that I really aspire to be around that doesn't actually like you still have to do a lot of like social work and like fit in. It's just it's kind of like skating in a lot of ways, which I think is such a good training and such I mean, so many overlaps too. A lot of
Oh,
like
dude, of
dope
course.
designers that I wanted to be around, I also like knew from skating and like some of the first stuff that I was really proud of that I worked on was like branding for branding for Altamont, branding for Burton, stuff like
What?
that. Yeah,
Sick.
yeah, which was, so cool, but all of that came from skateboarding and not from going to school for anything. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Yeah, totally. Wow, that's
Yeah.
rad, though. What era of S was this? Was this like what was
Yeah,
that?
so me the guy the studio that I worked for, shout out Namdev, MVA, sorry, in Minneapolis, we worked on, like, the last season of S before it disappeared. Like, the last
Like
season
the
of S before it, like, disappeared, I wanna say it was, like, all this stuff came out in, like, 2011. Yeah, it was, like,
okay.
2011 S. We
So was that
designed
like was like Bobby Warris still on it, or was
yeah,
that like
yeah,
after? Okay.
yeah, that was, like, around the era of the what was the part he had where he, like, wa did a wall ride on a bus?
Oh, yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah, I
talking about? He
forgot.
had a
Yeah,
part where he did a
yeah,
wall ride on a bus, yeah, it was, like, that era, but
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that
Sick.
was
That
a
was a
whole
sick era, dude. Like Raymond
yeah,
Molinar was on S too. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure he was still on it at that time. It was a
he was
crazy
so
team.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, McCrank too, still on there, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
so
yeah.
sick.
So dope.
Yeah. Yeah, but I get that, and, like, to bring it all around, I mean, how much has the skate world, or I wanna say, like, the skate expanded world played into the work that you do now? Like, is there overlap, or are they completely separate things?
Um, I mean, I don't know. Like I think there's some overlap. Um they're also, like, so different and, like,
Yeah,
so separate, but I think, like, every once in a while, there'll be, like, a nice little overlap. I'll meet somebody or, like, talking with you or, like, Reynolds will pop up, and it's like, "What? Reynolds? Like, that's crazy," you
so
know?
sick.
But the whole thing that could have been with the Virgil was, he was like I made him something for his house, and then he was like, "Dude, if you ever wanna do anything, like a project together, let me know." I was like, "Okay." So,
Wow.
I, like, set up a meeting with them and, like, I had, like, a couple ideas. I was so nervous because at this point, I had, like, done my research and been like, "Oh, shit, he's, like, a big deal," and, like, I was still
Yeah,
so fresh with, like, wood carving
yeah,
and all this that, like, honestly, I was not ready personally to, like, do any of these projects that I was pitching to him,
right,
but I
and
had the opportunity.
was he working for Louis Vuitton yet?
It was, like, the year I think he got, like, brought over to Louis
That's
Vuitton.
unreal, man. That's unreal,
Yeah, it
yeah,
may have been, like, within a couple months or something, but, like, the idea I pitched
yeah,
him was like, "Oh, let's do, like, I can carve some, like, skatable sculptures out of large, chunky,
yeah,
logs." And I, like, sent him some it's like rough sketches and examples, and, there was, like, 4 other ideas that I kinda forgot about, but he was like,
yeah,
"Dude, the skate one is sick, like, let's do it." And he's like, "I'm about to open
wow,
this new Off-White store in Milan." He's like,
whoa.
"What if we, like, bring all your skatable pieces in there before the store opens, invite all of our favorite skaters," and, like, as he's telling me this, I'm like, "This is a dream, dude, like, this isn't
This
real."
is unreal. Yeah, wow.
And then he's like, once they're all skated and like, marked up and like wax and all this stuff, then we'll leave them all in the store and we'll kind of use them as like merchandising for like shoes or like benches for this or display things. And I was like, sure, that sounds great, man. Let's do it. And
Which is
then,
also just brilliant, that shows you, like, how his hamster wheel was turning in his head, man. It's just like
totally,
yeah,
totally. It was so cool. And then, he kinda left the ball, he sent it over to me, he was like, "Alright, well, what's next?" And I was like, "Well, I should probably, like, make a proof of concept," and I was still working my regular job at this point, so it was just, like, in a weird spot, and so, like, I made a prototype, it's like a bench and, like, put some angle iron on it, and me and my friends took it to the school and, like, skated it, and this is up in Portland still, and we made this little edit, that's up on my Instagram, and I sent it to him, and he was like, "Yeah, it's great, like, I knew it was gonna work, but,
that's
like,
like
you didn't need to do this basically," because it took me, like, 5 months to, like, do all
yeah,
this stuff,
right, right.
and then, of course, he passed away sadly, and then, that was that.
Which is RIP to, like,
Yeah.
literally the best ever, one of the best ever, but I
Yeah,
mean,
so
so
crazy.
cool that you had that opportunity and just to, like, have that creative exchange, like, that
Yeah.
will resonate for so many people, so that's so cool.
Well, dude, it really, like, boosted my confidence, and, like, there's so many stories of people that, like, kinda lower level or, like, entry level people in their career, like, getting opportunities to work with Virgil, and, like, you heard so many stories like that, especially after he passed, and it's like, that dude gave so many people so many amazing opportunities, and, like, whether or not they did anything with them or, like, they were, well received, like, he really helped out a ton of people.
Yeah, it's just kind of unreal when you start to, like, add those up, so, I mean,
Yeah.
amazing, and that's just, like, such a cool concept too, to, like,
Well
transform your work in that way,
well, dude,
and yeah.
let's do it, let's make it happen, I still wanna do it.
Yeah, right. I mean, hey, man, somebody listening has a store. Let's go. So,
Yeah.
but speaking about this crossover, with skateboarding and your work, did I hear, and not to put you on the spot, but did I hear that you have some involvement in slow impact this year? Is that correct?
Yeah, dude, that's a funny segue 'cause, yeah, so I do, um I am organizing and participating in a show for Slow Impact in February on the 26th, which is a Thursday.
Amazing.
And it's like opening day, kind of like opening party. There's going to be an art show. I think there's a skate meetup prior to that, and then I think the gallery's right next to a bar. So I think like the party just kind of continues. But
Yeah.
Ryan Lay had asked me if I wanted to have a show for Slow Impact, which, like, dude, I was so honored to get that that invite because, like, Slow Impact and maybe like the Dime Glory Challenge or like and maybe the Bunt Jam are like two or three of the like most like exciting skateboard events to me. And so, I also like really love architecture and all the stuff that Ted Barrow does, like with this old ledge and his walking tours and stuff. I'm like a huge fan of, and so knowing that he's like a part of Slow Impact too was really cool. So Ryan asked if I would do a show, and there wasn't enough time for me to like have a solo show, which was kind of the ask initially.
So yeah.
And so, I decided to shift it to like a group show model, and, coincidentally had just gotten done, co-curating and organizing, another group show here in LA. And so it was sort of like, all right, I just finished that one and then had no intention of like really doing it again. But then, this whole thing just kind of happened. So yeah, the show with Slow Impact is called Form Follows Spot.
I love it.
And, it's kinda, like, based around architectural details from iconic skate spots. So, like, I reference the step-up pattern at the pyramid ledges and how somebody could look at
Nice.
that, kinda recontextualize it, and ask, like, "Okay, if that were a stool, what would it look like?" And, so another one is, like, the LA High banks, you have this, like, angle, and it's like, "Okay, if
Yeah,
if if
yeah.
LA High banks wanted to be a chair, what would that look like?" And those 2 are, like, pretty almost self-explanatory. You can almost already visualize what that would be because the back of a chair is the same angle as the bank, and the step-up ledge, like, you could literally just carve that step-up ledge out of wood, and it would look really cool and be, like, a direct reference. Um,
Yeah.
but, we wanna leave it, like, open to interpretation and not have too many restrictions, so, we're asking that people, like, there's no boundaries, so it can be conceptual, it can be an abstract relation to a detail at a spot. It could be, a 2D work, it could be a 3D work. There's some pretty rad stuff that people are doing. But so we asked I think I think there's gonna be like 8 or 9 artists in it, and everybody's picking a spot that like they either have like a relationship with or a history with or got a trick or didn't get a trick but wanted to. And uh each piece is gonna be accompanied by a poster that's sort of situated behind it, and those posters, really excited about this part because Mike Barker is doing the posters for these because he does that account Spot Research. You know that
Spot
one?
research. Oh, great,
Yeah.
great dude. I met him at Slow Impact, so there you go.
Oh, sick. Are you going this year?
I will be there. VP will be
Hell yeah, dude.
in fully represented. It's gonna be good, and we have a couple tie-in things that we're doing with the event that are gonna be
What?
yeah, it's gonna be good.
Sick, dude. Well, I'll see you there then.
See you there,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and so, dude, you wanna hear the list of, people that are in the show?
I definitely wanna hear that.
Okay, cool. So, it is in no particular order, um, Ryan Belly, Alejandro De Paz, Chris Mahonsky, Louis Sorowski.
Shout out Lurkaloo.
I hope I'm saying everybody's name right. Um, Luke Mullaney. Shout out Luke,
Shout
dude.
out Long Island, let's go.
Dude, hell yeah. Mark Tan, um, Juan Obando. Some of these names people are like, who? Most of them. Raymond Molinar, I got him to do one.
There we go, and people are gonna look these people up too, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then maybe I'm pretty sure Alexis Sablone's gonna do it too. But we're
Love
kind of
it. Love it.
pretty sure. And I might be like forgetting one or two people, but it's still kind of shaping up. But some of the spots people are like referencing, I won't say who, but like not that it really matters. Dirty Curb in Richmond, Hollywood High, the Pit in Venice, Lockwood, Baldy Pipe, Brooklyn Banks, San Francisco City College. Luke's spot is really sick. I forgot what the name was, but it's
Okay.
he showed me some he's been trying like a trick on it forever and he like hasn't been able to pull it. And he's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna like make a chair based on this spot that I skate all the time.
I love this so much. This is such a good, like, integration of these worlds without being, like, super heavy-handed. It seems like it's very, like you know what I mean, though? Because sometimes I'll see, like, a skate art thing, and it's just like, it's just kinda lame, but this is very, like, high concept. I love this.
Dope, dude. Thank you. I hope you like it. I think it'll come together and be really cool. And I think it has like a lot of legs because um you don't need to do this through the perspective of a skateboarder, although it kind of just like deepens the story, you know? But this prompt could be given to anybody who has an affinity or in a relationship to a particular
Yeah.
landmark or, spot or something like that. But this show is only up for one night. It's just like the opening party for Slow Impact. And so I think we're going to have it travel to like a gallery at Arizona State University right next door.
Amazing.
Um, and, ideally, it'd be cool to do like round two of this or round three or four, keep this like theme going and maybe, do them either through the skate world or not, maybe preferably not. And, but I think it's a cool idea to bring in a lot of like new artists and, working with different materials. And I think it's a fun idea.
It's so cool, and also, yeah, something like this could totally live in a gallery or some sort of space like that where it's like, yeah, it has a skate connection, but doesn't have to be within the like, presented within the skate world. It could just live somewhere. It
Totally.
could be something people go check out, and maybe, yeah, they, like, get some big takeaways from it. They start seeing skateboarding different, furniture
Yeah.
different, they start seeing, like, sculpture. So, I mean, I think that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, like, when I was thinking about coming up with this idea, like, skateboarders have the most acute observations on spots due to, like, cracks or,
It's
like,
unreal.
thickness of granite ledges or, proportion and scale, like, all of that matters so much, and we pay so much attention to it, probably more so definitely more so than just the pedestrian walking past these buildings, you know? It's like
Oh,
us
it's
and the architect are the only people that really hone in on this stuff.
So this hits so close to home. My daughter stayed with my parents in Minneapolis for like a week over the summer, and my dad just sent me a video of my daughter like running around on this like concrete pad, and she's like, "Oh, she's got a lot of energy," and I was like, "Oh, you're at Minnehaha Falls, like that, like you're on the state thing at Minnehaha Falls." She's like, "How did you know that?" And I was just like, "Oh, it's a manual pad. Like we used to go down there all the time. I know that little like." Like two stair with like the dumb little handrail thing on it. Like I could identify that anywhere. He's like, you're nuts. Like, you're
That's
nuts, how
so
do you know that? I'm
good.
like, "Oh, it's so obvious to me," and anybody who skated it back in the day would be like, "Oh, yeah, that's this Minnehaha Falls easy."
I
But it's just
love
funny
that,
how it's like
dude.
this weird superpower you don't even think about, and it's just yeah, man, to, like, anybody who has that trained eye, it's, like, real some of that stuff is just really obvious, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's so sick, dude. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, love to talk it through. Love to hear that all this is coming up. I was gonna see if you wanted to pivot and play a game.
Sure.
All right, let's get it. We're gonna play a round of what is fast becoming a crowd favorite, this or that. We're gonna play this or that, and I'm just gonna ask you your preferences. It's a simple exercise of preferences, and I say, which one do you prefer, this or that? So we're gonna start out with redwood or maple. Which do you prefer?
Redwood, California grown, native tree. One of the oldest living things on our planet, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's like the second biggest tree in the world or something as a redwood tree. It's pretty crazy.
So that's easy, and you make a lot of your work with redwood as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, most of the work I or the logs I get are they're like local trees and stuff. So a lot of them are well, a lot of them are native to California, but not all of them. But redwood is just it's one of the best woods to carve. It's super buttery. It's easy on the tools. It finishes really nicely. And there's just like so much history with the redwoods in California.
Yeah,
I love it.
that makes all the sense in the world. All right, so 1 point for redwood. LA or New York?
I mean, I think New York's probably the greatest city in the country. I don't think there's like much denying that. So I'm just gonna say that. But Claremont's really good too. I'm not gonna say LA is holding up to New York, but Claremont's a real special place.
Love it, living your truth. Half cab or dunk?
Half cab. Dude, I
Hell
could
yeah.
never get into that, like, the stitching on the toe on dunks, and, like, every company has this, how it
Yeah,
dips in right there as it
yeah.
comes towards the middle. Looking down at my foot, I can never do that. It just, like, bothers me so much.
I know what you mean, man, like, people have their preferences, and that's a big part of it, the toe. Alright, mini ramp or perfect flat ground?
Perfect flat ground, dude, all
Oh,
day.
okay. Borough Hall, also. Have you skated Borough Hall?
No.
Alright, well, if you come out here, we're gonna skate Borough Hall because it's
Dude,
the
I'm
best flat
so down. I
the
haven't
best
been
flat
able to
ground ever.
skate New York much. I was in a band and we were on tour and we had like a day to kill. So we went to Tompkins and that was
Nice.
like this was in like 2018 or something. And that was like one of the only times I was able to skate New York, dude.
That I mean, you got to, and you got to Tompkins, which is pretty good. What sort of band were you in? I'm sure people
Um,
might be curious.
it's called Honey Bucket. There's a few Honey Buckets now
Okay,
apparently. But
sure.
this one was my friend Matt Radosevich, who like he rips. He's super good at skating. And
Sick.
John Grothman, who's also good at skating. But it's like a three-piece guitar, bass, drums, kind of like post-punky rock kind of stuff.
Yeah, got it. Okay, cool. So, all right, 1 point for flat ground, liking these answers so far.
Yes.
Um, all right, Giacometti or Calder?
Calder. I love like how he does these. I mean, there's so many Calders. He's kind of like played out like they're everywhere. But I just
Yeah.
love mobiles and like kinetic sculptures and um uh I'm always drawn to things that like look like they could be playgrounds or play structures. Like even when I approach my work, a lot of times I'm like, okay, if I would my like 8-year-old self want to climb on this sculpture, it's like it has to check that box. And to me, Calder does it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned Noguchi earlier, Mr. Playground.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so all right, so we got Calder, cool. All right, Home Depot or a knocked over tree?
I mean, you know, obviously a knocked over tree. Rather see these trees standing, and but trees they have a lifespan just like us, and
Yeah.
so sometimes they gotta come down.
Sometimes they gotta come down, and then you turn them into, a sculpture.
Yeah,
Alright, girl or workshop?
girl.
Yeah, you said that earlier. I was thinking about this. I was like, "Oh, he's got his answer already. That's easy."
Yeah.
Any
Dude, that
any
logo is
reason?
so good. My friend
Y
my friend just sent me this photo of us in 5th grade, and I have, like, this girl shirt on. It's with, like, the 3 girls,
Yeah,
all, like, a different colorway. It's just, like, such a sick shirt, but he literally just sent it to me, like, a couple days
yeah,
ago. I was like, "Dude, your shirt is so good." I, like, totally remember having that.
that is sick. Alright, pet raccoon or pet owl?
What the fuck? Um,
I've been having fun with these, the weird
yeah,
pet ones.
it's pretty funny. I think owls are pretty sick.
Owls are sick, but it would fly around your house. I'm gonna say that.
Oh, shit, it has to be in does it have to be, like, in your kitchen like it is here?
I mean, the photo suggests so, I'd say. Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah.
I'll
Does
go
that
for
change your
it.
answer?
No,
Okay,
no, no, no,
cool.
I'm still down. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Still down for an owl.
Oh, shit.
Pro sculptor or pro skater, and I put Terry Kennedy because I googled pro skater and Terry Kennedy when it was one of the first ones that came up, and I was
That's so dude, so good. Pro sculptor for sure, dude. Didn't he just, like, get out of prison too?
I think he did, yeah. I haven't followed my Terry Kennedy news lately, but I think I did see something about that.
Damn, with the
Alright,
crew shirt and everything? Shit.
cruise a lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah.
Last one, slow impact or slow loris? There's an animal called a slow loris.
Dude, these are so good. Look at those eyes. That looks like my daughter.
Well, yeah, right? It looks like a doe-eyed child.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna go with slow impact 2026.
It's gonna be great. Great answers in general, and thank you for playing.
Dude, my
That's the name
pleasure.
of
That
the
was
game, man.
fun.
That's this or that. All right, man. I think we're at a great place to wrap. Anything else you wanna shout out? Anything else you wanna plug, talk about before we're done?
No, I think we covered it, man. This was super fun, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Love it. Thank you. And we'll see you at Slow Impact, and we'll see everybody at Slow Impact. How about that?
Yes, everybody, come to Slow
Cool.
Impact. Get your tickets.
Get your tickets. You heard it here first or last, whatever. Get your tickets. All right. Cool.
All
All
right.
right. We'll see you.
Peace.